You can't win baseball games if you can't put the bat on the ball. 3 hits is bad enough, but another 14 strikeouts completes a series full of swings and misses. We'll talk about another loss against the Braves to lose the series for our Halos on today's edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast right now.
You are Locked On Angels Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls. Hello, Postcast people, and welcome to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast, coming at you live, as always, on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel, live after every single Angels game, and after the fact, wherever you get the Locked On Angels podcast feed. It's becoming quite a trend for the Angels. Swings and misses. Another 14 strikeouts today completes a series where they strike out 42 times in 3 games. 42 strikeouts in 3 games, only 3 hits tonight. They got absolutely shut down. They're getting no hit for a while. Charlie Morton just allows 2 hits in his great start. The bullpen for the Braves just as phenomenal. And the Angels lose 3-1 to lose the series against the Braves to fall to 53-71 on the season. And this game felt like a missed opportunity. This series, to some degree, felt like a missed opportunity. Playing against a team that is certainly hungry, desperate for wins, needs them in the playoff race. And unfortunately, the Angels, had an opportunity to have a great series win. Instead, they miss out with back-to-back losses after a series opening win. We'll talk about all of it as always, but first and foremost, shout out to everybody in here, seeing some of the normal faces, or profile pics: Jeff, Skyler, Angels win, BC, Daniel Barry, to name a few. Leave a like as always, comment as well. It's really hot in LA, so if you see me looking over, it's me making sure that things aren't melting. Not actually, but the charger's acting a little funny on the laptop. It's really hot in this apartment bedroom that I am in. A quick shout out to the sponsor of today's show. You know the drill at this point. The sponsor is PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. And when we jump into this one, we're going to talk about the biggest missed opportunity of this game, in my opinion. The Angels really had an opportunity in the bottom of the 5th inning to help, in what was at this point 2-0, not only maybe tie this game, but take the lead. Bottom of the 5th, Charlie Morton had been absolutely dealing coming into this one. We'll get into Gavin's good, bad, and ugly later, but like I was saying in previous podcasts, if the game was close, if there was a turning point, we have to start with that. And it starts in the bottom of the 5th because the Angels up until that point, literally nothing. 1-2-3 first, 1-2-3 second other than a walk, but still no hit. 1-2-3 third, 1-2-3 fourth. A no-hitter going into the 5th inning. But Brandon Drury breaks the hitless start for Charlie Morton with a leadoff single in the 5th where he absolutely crushed the ball. Crushed it. He hit it 384 feet. Probably, was close to being a home run or even an extra base hit. Somehow it's only a single. But Drury singles, then Matt Theis walks, then Joe Adell singles. Young throws up the stop sign at third base. You're thinking, maybe a questionable decision. Bases are loaded. Maybe you push it and try to score a run. But Mickey Moniak comes up with nobody out, and the base is loaded. And then he gets hit by a pitch. And all of a sudden, it's now 2-1. The tying runs on third. The go-ahead runs on second. And instead of at least tying the game, maybe going ahead, what happens? We see Ron Washington elect to go for the suicide squeeze again. This play has not worked all season for the Angels, but Michael Stefanik, a contact hitter, a guy you assume is good with the bat, not just swinging, but bunting as well. They elect to trust Michael Stefanik with a bunt attempt, and it does not work out. It doesn't work out. Kind of a weird situation where at first he goes for the bunt and the suicide squeeze, and he fouls it. Then the runner's going again, but he doesn't bunt, and he pops out to the first baseman, Matt Olson. They're lucky that it wasn't a failed bunt attempt, swing and a miss. Would have been a tag out at home, but a pop out certainly doesn't help. And then Taylor Ward, Mr. Pencilbat Taylor Ward, all this fun talk about him, being a pencil, having the pencil skin on his bat and also suddenly being the Angels leadoff hitter. Oh, he had 2 hits yesterday. Maybe this is his new spot. Well, he gave you a classic Taylor Ward performance tonight. 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, and here, arguably the biggest at-bat of the game. Because still, there's 1 out, the bases are loaded. The expectation is still for you to score at least 1 run, right? But not with Taylor Ward. He grounds out a tailor-made double play to the shortstop, and just like that, bases loaded, no outs, becomes 1 run. That's it, and on a hit by pitch. You didn't even earn it. The hitting with runners in scoring position, not many opportunities tonight, just 1 for 3, but still, they never can put together more than 2 hits with runners in scoring position. And if they just had one, no actual RBIs tonight, if they could have just had 1 swing from Taylor Ward, even if it's just a sac fly, it's 2-2, and this is a very different looking ball game. But instead, it stays 2-1. Ronzi Contreras ends up giving up a run, and 3-1 is the final. So that, in my opinion, was the turning point of the game. You go from literally not having a hit to breaking a no-hitter into bases loaded, nobody out, into getting a hit by pitch to gift you a run, and that's somehow the only run you have all game, the only RBI on a hit by pitch. So that was, in my opinion, absolutely the turning point of this game. Other than that, lifeless from the Angels. 3 hits, and 2 of them came in that inning. Other than that, you get walked twice, the hit by pitch, but you strike out 14 times. And like I said at the beginning, 42 strikeouts on the series. 13 in game 1, 15 in game 2, 14 in game 3. Charlie Morton is a good pitcher, certainly. He is certainly at the tail end of his career, though. And honestly, this year, has he been that great of a pitcher? No. Even with this great performance, he's just now 7-7 with a 4.29 ERA. He's become kind of predictable at this point of his career. A lot of sinkers. Somehow he strikes out 7. Then Lee comes in and strikes out 4 of his 5 outs are strikeouts. Jimenez comes in, 2 of his 3 outs are strikeouts. And then Iglesias, 1 of his 3 outs in his save is a strikeout as well. So literally every pitcher for the Braves struck out an Angels batter today. Everybody on the lineup was struggling. Only Matt Dice, he was the only guy who did not strike out. He didn't even have a hit, though. He didn't even have a technical at-bat. He got walked twice. But Stefanik didn't strike out as well. But Taylor Ward, 2 strikeouts. Zach Neto, 3 strikeouts. Shanuel, a strikeout. Kavadas, 2 strikeouts. He's still hitless since he's been called up and suddenly is being penciled in as the cleanup hitter despite not having an MLB hit under his belt. Pilar struck out. Drury struck out. Ohapi struck out. Adele struck out. Moniak with 2 strikeouts. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise. This team continues to not score more than 2, 3, at best 4 runs. Like literally they can't, the magic number we keep saying is 5 and they just can't get to it. When's the last time this team has scored more than 3 runs? Well, exactly a week ago in DC. The last 6 games, which has been 5 losses and 1 win, they've scored 1 run, 3 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 2 runs. The win, of course, one of the 3-run games where you just have a great pitching performance and you win 3-2. But other than that, the offense has been abysmal. Even in the games before that, the Nats series, you only win 1 of 3 because you score 6 runs, 4 runs, and 2 runs. So you only have 1 game with more than 5. We know how the Yankees series went. And then even the Mets series was kind of a fluky game where you only scored 1 run, 5 runs, and 3 runs. And somehow you get 2 wins in that series because the pitching was just so darn good. But this team has literally scored more than 5 runs twice this month. Twice. And it was the 2 games against the Yankees. Or 3 times. And it was 2 games against the Yankees and a game against the Nats. Other than that, this offense has been utterly lifeless. And that's with Zach Neto being unbelievable for most of this stretch. So it's pretty inexcusable. And you literally have the radio broadcast talking about, hey, well, Charlie Morton kind of gives up home runs every once in a while. Maybe the Angels can get a home run. At this point, even the radio guys who are supposed to believe in this team to do, the best they can do, and they're always overly optimistic, they're ruling out stringing together 3 or 4 hits in a row at this point. Even they know it's home run or bust in order to score a run. It's all we got. And it's not once or twice. It's every single game, and things need to change. And somehow Ron Washington decided that Taylor Ward at the leadoff spot and calling up a guy in Kavadas and immediately throwing him at cleanup was the big change. not being creative. I mean, I'll give it to Ron. He did have the suicide squeeze attempt, the only creativity we saw. But if Taylor Ward hitting with a pencil and batting first is the big change that's going to help the Angels turn it around offensively, no wonder it hasn't worked out. He was back in prime Taylor Ward form with an 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. When we come back from the break, we'll do Gavin's good, bad, and ugly as we always do. We'll also get to your comments as well, and we'll look ahead to the next series because, boy, after this series, after the series before that, you've lost 5 of your last 6. It's time to look ahead. You got the Royals. We're going to Kansas City. That's an interesting one, a team that is also in a heated playoff race. Maybe we can play spoiler there because we certainly didn't play spoiler the last 2 games against these Braves. We're going to take our first break, and we'll do all of that after here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. We'll be right back. Now, today's show is once again brought to you by PrizePicks. If you don't know by now, somehow, I don't know. You should know, but if you don't, I'll tell you. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because, unlike other apps where you're competing against other people with lineups made by AI and linear regression models and statistics and years of studying algorithms and looking at wind patterns and all this stuff, no. It's none of that. It's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. That's right. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. 1 Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on PrizePicks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. So, download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. You know how much I love PrizePicks, so join me. If you haven't already, take advantage of this deal. Use code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks, run your game. Back here live on Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I forgot to mention, I'm Gavin Carlson. If you don't know who I am, I spent the last 4 years as a credentialed journalist in the LA area. I'm now a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Angels lose this one 3-1. They lose this series to the Braves 2-1. And the big stat, the obvious big red flag, 42 strikeouts. And that's where we start today's edition of Gavin's Good, Bad, and Ugly. I think I'm going to make some sort of jingle or something. That might be fun. But we'll get to the ugly right away. Get it over with because we already hinted it a million times. It's the strikeouts. It's impossible to feel confident about this lineup when you can't even muster up ground ball outs. Like at this point, it feels like over time this month and the last couple months, the expectations have been lowered, which is the exact opposite of what things should be doing. And that's why, I don't like to criticize Ron Washington, but maybe it's time to look at him a little bit. It's not like suddenly Mike Trout's out. He's been out all year. It's not like suddenly Anthony Rendon doesn't play baseball. He hasn't played baseball in a decade. It's not like suddenly these guys are not good hitters. They've been bad hitters. So why in the world did this team go from, every once in a while they'll explode and hit 3 home runs, but other than that they'll struggle, to now if they're getting shut down, they are getting shut down, but hey, and then in the 7th or 8th inning they turn things on, to now it's literally, or then, recently it was, hey, they just can't score in a lot of runs. Now it's become, they can't even put the bat on the ball. It's strike out 42 times in a series and have 3 hits tonight. That's what it's become. It's pretty disappointing that we have regressed. Other than Zach Neto, who, boy, did he regress today, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. But other than him being red hot recently, nobody on this team is playing well. Nolan Shanuel, maybe the other exception, but his average has actually gone down. It's below 250. And no one else is playing well. No one else. So, ugly, easily. The amount of strikeouts, just ridiculous. Not runners in scoring position for once, just 1 for 3. But you tell me in the comments, would you rather go 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position or 1 for 3? They're both infuriating. One, you're not creating any opportunities. The other one, you're not converting. And this one, we already talked about. We had the bases loaded and managed to only score 1 run. Bases loaded, nobody out. That's the bad today. The ugly is the strikeouts. The bad is that inning. That inning was the turning point in this game. And also, like I was saying, you got no hit through the first 4. That's the bad. What's the good? Might be the first time that not a single hitter is included in the good. But the main good is Jack Kowanowitz. 6 innings pitched. He gave up 7 hits, and he walked 3 guys. So certainly some traffic. But just 2 earned runs, and he gave up a home run. So despite giving up a home run, you only give up 2 runs. You got to give him his credit. And it started right away. He walked the first guy, and then you hit Austin Riley. And you're going, oh man, this is going to be a 8 earned run in 3-game outing for Jack Kowanowitz as the Angels lose 11-2 or something like they already did in this series, 11-3. But no, immediately gets Ozuna to ground it to a double play. Michael Harris does get to third, and unfortunately, he doesn't somehow escape the inning completely unscathed. Oh my goodness, that was a struggle there. He gives up a single to Matt Olson. It is 1-0, but then he gets a Laureano flyout. Top of the second, 1-2-3. Top of the third, and more trouble. A single, a walk, a sac bunt. It's second and third with 1 out. Then he walks intentionally. Marcell Ozuna, the bases are loaded, but then what does he do in the top of the third? He forces another clutch double play to get out of the inning. Got to give him credit. He knows his role. Throw strikes, throw sinkers, throw the ball low. But then against Laureano, he makes a big mistake. He hangs a curveball in the top of the 4th inning, gives up a leadoff home run to Laureano. But once again, how about the resilience? In this same inning, he gives up 2 singles and still gives up no other runs because he forces another double play. 5th inning, gives up 2 singles, but doesn't give up any runs. Becoming a trend, right? 6th inning, he goes 1-2-3, and that's when we decide to make the change. You got to give him a lot of credit. I thought he was very resilient, which is the number one thing I want to see from a young guy. Know your job, know your role. His role is to throw strikes, to force ground balls. Well, boy, did he do that tonight. Gave up a lot of hits. 7 hits, 3 walks as well, but understands his role. He's able to intentionally walk and force a double play. He's able to get out of another inning with a double play. He's able to get out of another inning with a double play. He did enough. And run support, the Angels are allergic to it. You know, every once in a while you'll have a game like yesterday where the pitching staff blows up. But most of the time they don't. As of late. I just told you how bad the offense has been all month. So we cannot blame this pitching staff. We can't do it. And it's a bunch of names we hardly even recognize, which is why I think the coaches deserve a lot of credit for the way the pitching's worked out. Barry Enright, good job. But we know the issue is the offense, not giving these guys run support. Imagine how hard it is for a guy like Jack Kowanowitz to come out, knowing his team's probably not going to give any runs. He gives up a run in the first inning. He knows he's already penciled in for the loss. He gives up a home run to lead off the 4th. He's down 2-0. He's got no run support. He hasn't even gotten a hit from his lineup. And he still is able to go out, finish off the 4th, finish out the 5th, finish out the 6th. I was really impressed with him. Shout out to him. He got the job done. He got the job done despite having no help offensively. So that was the good. That was the only good. The only good today in what has not been much of a good series, good stretch, losing 5 out of your last 6. We're going to take our last break here. When we come back, we'll read your chats and we'll preview that Royals series a little bit after our last break here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Now, finally, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. What is it, though? It's America's #1 sportsbook, so why wouldn't we talk a lot about it? And, well, we have something a little different for you. Now, through September 22nd, it's August 18th, so that's more than a month. Now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel any time. Now, that's amazing. Like, that's actually amazing. I had NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube last year. It was great. And I grew up in a DirecTV household. And the reason we had DirecTV was because of Sunday Ticket. Huge football household, right? Sunday Ticket on DirecTV, it was okay. But it wasn't what YouTube TV has done with Sunday Ticket. Not only does it work for people without cable, you just got to stream, but it works incredibly well. It's actually from a provider that's designed to manage online mobile viewing, unlike DirecTV. So while DirecTV was great on the TV, the app was not good. YouTube TV, obviously, they're great with the app. They're great with mobile streaming. So last year, I'd be watching every game, all game long, every game, all day long, on my phone, on my laptop, on my iPad, 4 games at once, following the fantasy team at the same time. It's so efficient. So this is a great deal. One more time. If you bet $5 on FanDuel, you get 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV and YouTube overall. So just visit fanduel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel, and take advantage of that amazing promotion. Back here live one more time, the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. I am Gavin Carlson. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. And the Angels, boy, it's been a rough go. They've lost 5 of their last 6 thanks to 42 strikeouts in this series against the Braves. Somehow they won one of the 3 games against the Braves despite striking out 42 times in that series. And that was coming off a sweep at the hands of the Toronto Blue Jays. Today, they strike out 14 more times. They only have 3 hits. Their big opportunity in the bottom of the 5th inning, the bases loaded with nobody out, and somehow they only score 1 run on a hit by pitch. No RBIs with the bat. Disappointing. The Angels have not been able to even put the bat on the ball recently. We're going to jump into your comments. We'll preview the next series real quick, and we'll wrap this one up so you can enjoy the rest of your Sunday and not have to think about the Angels anymore. BC coming in here with all this Dodgers left. We're not talking about the Dodgers, BC. Daniel Barry says, hey, happy Sunday. Hey, everyone, as always. Jeff, yet another loss, but at least we didn't lose by a lot. Yeah, that's what it's come to at this point. Being happy that you only lose by 2 runs and not 8, like earlier in the series. Skyler says, the story of the whole year. Pitching, for the most part, shows urgency, but the offense is lifeless. Yes, and becoming more and more lifeless. That's the problem, in my opinion. It's not that this lineup is not scoring a ton of runs. We know that's been an issue for a while. The issue is it's getting worse. It's gone from, hey, we can score, but it's only through home runs, to, hey, we can't score other than the 8th or 9th inning, to, hey, we can't score, but we're making contact, to, hey, we're not even making contact. That's the issue. That's what's so disappointing. He says, Morton and Sale made our offense look like puppies. I want some dogs on this team. Nobody's got that dog in him. Logan O'Hoppe does, but he's been struggling. Zach Neto does, but not great tonight. So, yeah. We don't have many dogs on this team. Come next year, the only dogs we got are pitchers. I love the Angels, but respectfully, bring me the LA Rams. Yes, I am the postcast host for the Rams, of course. And then finally, Skyler says, Ron Washington got outmanaged by his former team, and I was fooled to think we have a chance. We need culture, a standard of excellence. The Braves have it. We don't. Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to fully, give your full opinion on Ron Washington, because he has to do so much to overcome what this culture has been for the last handful of years, right? And how long does it take to undo that? Just to give you a little analogy in another sport, I am a soccer fan. I am a Chelsea fan. You see the Pulisic jersey behind me. Chelsea played their season opener today. They lost 2-0. In soccer, that's not a great result. And yet, some fans, not all, of course, because there's always going to be unreasonable fans, but some fans were like, hey, we lost, but we're playing the best team in the Premier League, and we were encouraged to see a new system. If you don't know, I'm sure you don't, because this is a baseball podcast, but just to explain things, Chelsea's coming in with a new manager this year, after having a new manager last year, a new manager before that, the year before that, 2 actually. There's all these new systems. You can't expect the culture to flip in a game, in a day, in a summer, in an off season. It takes time. But we're at the point where we're well over halfway through the year, and does the culture feel that different under Ron Washington? I don't know. At times it does, but a lot of times it doesn't. It does pitching-wise. You see him go out there on the mound, talk about dog in him. Ron Washington has that dog in him, and he puts that dog in his pitchers when he goes out to the mound and talks to them. Where's that with this lineup, though? Where's that with the leadership? We see it from Logan O'Hoppe a little bit every once in a while. Zach Neto leading by example, saying, I want to hit second, and does well. But other than that, where in the world is the leadership? It's not Taylor Ward coming out with the pencil bat and having one good game and then doing what he did today. All right? It's not a guy, Cavadas, who just got called up. It's not Brandon Drury, who's leading by example, hitting 164. Kevin Pillar, really the only leader, both verbally and by performance, but he never plays. There's no leadership other than Ron Washington, and he seems to only have success with the pitching staff. So, yeah, the culture, there's no change. No change. As much as we would expect to see it, there hasn't been enough of a change. Anthony Jimenez says, did the A's overtake us yet? Well, I know we were tied coming into today, and they were tied with the Giants in the 9th inning, so I am not sure if they pulled out the win, but if they did, then they would be ahead of us. So, I don't know. Actually, I can check real quick. Final score. Giants won in 10. So we are tied with the A's still at 53 and 71, and the bottom of the AL West. Saucy James said, maybe we can draft 20 pitchers again. Obviously, the problem. Are you being sarcastic? I hope you're being sarcastic. Because I don't think pitching has been the problem. I hope you're being sarcastic. I mean, names-wise, certainly it's an issue. There's not many names there you're confident about, but the pitching has actually been pretty darn good. BC coming in, not only is he a Dodgers fan in here every day, but he's coming in with a jab. He says, Chelsea finishing 7th, mediocre forwards. Hey, we're not getting into a soccer conversation. That's not my job on this show. But let me just say, I'm actually more encouraged than you would think, okay? And we're going to make some moves and get some forwards. Don't you worry. Saucy James says, we don't play Pilar and we were unwilling to trade Pilar. What the hell are we doing? Yep. We are long removed from the trade deadline, but every day you could bring it up and you would be valid to do so because there's so many head-scratching decisions. Not only, I mean, look at the guys we elected to not trade. Taylor Ward, he stinks. Luis Rengifo, done for the year. Kevin Pilar, like you said, he's a leader. He's actually pretty good, but we didn't trade him, and we don't play him. Tyler Anderson, guess what? Even when he has great starts, we lose. So, yeah, absolutely ridiculous. And, okay, he's confirming total sarcasm on the trade comment, and good. Glad we're on the same page there. Real quick, let's talk about this upcoming series. It will be the Kansas City Royals, who have actually been, pleasantly surprising to some. I mean, obviously, they have a superstar in Bobby Witt Jr., but they have been real good. You got to give them their credit for in a division that's kind of exceeded expectations in the AL Central. Not only do you have the Cleveland Guardians, who have really exceeded expectations, 20 games over 500. I've already given rants earlier in the year on this podcast about why can't the Angels be the Guardians? Why can't they? Talent-wise, they're not that far off, and yet the Guardians are 20 games over 500, we're 18 under. The Twins, 16 games over 500. They're just behind 2 games back of the Guardians. The Royals, 3 games back of the Twins at 69 and 55. The interesting thing is, at least according to MLB.com, the Royals are the wild card team with a similar record to the Twins, but the Twins are above them in the division race. I don't really understand. Maybe that's a division record thing. I don't know, to be honest there. But yeah, should be fun. Should be interesting. We go to Kansas City. Another similar situation to this one. The Braves 66 and 58 now. The Royals 69 and 55. A team that is in the heat of the wild card race that would love to sweep our Angels. Certainly need to win the series against them. Let's try to play spoiler. Let's try to win 2 of 3. Let's try to win a series. Let's try to make sure we're not getting to 100 losses. At this point, it's still a possibility. We need 10 wins in our last. Let's do the math here. 124 in our last 38 games, I believe. That's the right math. 38 would be 61, 132. Yeah, 38 games. I can do some quick math. We got to win 10 of the next 38. You got to go 10 and 28. Can we do it? That means winning, a fourth of your games. I think we can, or a third of your games. I think we can do it. You just got to win 1 game every series. We somehow did that this series, but we'll see. Should be an interesting series. The Royals, competitive team, playing for a lot. We are certainly not. Anthony Jimenez will add one more thing. He'll say, nice play by Drury to start an inning-ending double play. Just looking for a positive. Yeah, that's why this game felt like a missed opportunity. Because Kolanowitz was great. The fielding was actually great. And you had a bases-loaded opportunity to tie or take the lead. So this really felt like a missed opportunity in a lot of ways. Like you said, defense played well. Pitching was great. And you don't win. Because you can't even put the bat in the ball. Pretty frustrating. But with all that being said, we're going to wrap this one up. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody. Unlike our Angels, 3-1 the final. Braves beat the Angels. Angels are losers of 5 of their last 6. They don't get swept by the Braves, but they do lose 2 of 3, lose the rubber match, and they will travel to Kansas City to hopefully end this rough stretch. I'm Gavin Carlson. This was the Locked On Angels Postcast. I'll be back tomorrow after that Royals series opener. And as always, even after a loss, even after a series loss, go Angels. Appreciate you all. Take care, everybody.